All right, you guys, we are into day 4 of road trip week. So if you're new around here or you missed my posts the last few days, I'm spending this entire week talking about road tripping with kids, and I'm taking a different category each day and covering all of the tips and tricks and answering questions that you have about road tripping in those certain categories. So today we're focusing on media for the car. And the 4 sections that I'm going to cover are music, audiobooks, podcasts, and movies. So to jump right in, we love as a family listening to music in the car. And before we go on a long road trip, I try to get some new songs, things that we're not sick of and have already listened to over and over again. One tip for getting new music is to look up soundtracks from movies that you've seen as a family recently. And that's kind of fun because the kids will remember the songs and think about the movie, and it's kind of a fun way to get some new music. Also, I love to just grab a bunch of my old CD mixes that I made in high school and college, and my kids don't necessarily love them, but when they go to sleep and I need something to sing to and reminisce, it's fun to pull out stuff from way back when and remember how many songs that I still know and can sing along to. Okay, second section is about audiobooks. So audiobooks are an awesome thing for the car because sometimes kids get car sick. I know I can't really read in the car, so I love audiobooks for that reason. And also, kids can be doing busy things with their hands and still listening. So audiobooks are a great option for long road trips. And there's several different ways that you can get audiobooks for your road trip. You can just go to your library and get CDs of audiobooks, and hopefully if they have a good selection, you can find some good ones there. And most libraries now are allowing you to download digital audiobooks and kind of check them out digitally. So there's an app called Libby, and it allows you to search for your library, enter your library card number, and then it's basically like a virtual library. So you can check out audio and digital ebooks, and you have them, it's just like a library where you have them for a certain amount of time, and then they automatically get removed from your device when it's time to check them back in. So this is awesome because it's free, and you can download them to your phone so you don't have to stream them, which is great for long road trips. The one thing you have to be prepared for is that not all of the library books that you want or the audiobooks will be available at any given time. It's just like a normal library, even with the digital books, because they only have a limited number of digital copies of the book that they'll lend out at any given time. So you might be on a wait list for books that are really popular. So I'd suggest downloading the Libby app several weeks in advance and just putting a bunch of books on your wish list or get on the wait list for those books, and then you'll be able to have a good selection of those when your trip actually comes. If you download the Libby app and your local library is not on it, then your library may offer digital audiobooks through a different app. Most have Libby, which is also, I've heard, the same thing as Overdrive. If you've used Overdrive, Libby is basically the same thing, but it's just a more user-friendly version of Overdrive. But Overdrive does still exist as well, so you could use that if you're more familiar with it. I would just recommend using Libby if you're new to this whole library digital download business. So if your library does not show up there, then I would just go to your library's website and search for their digital books, and they should have some resources to let you know how to download those to your phone. So some libraries will use an app called Hoopla that's similar to Libby, and you can download and check out those audiobooks. And some use different apps. One of them is called Cloud Library. So there's just different ways that libraries have to loan audio and ebooks, but most libraries do it. So it's definitely worth checking into because it's free, which is always good in my book. And then there's also services like Audible. I have Audible. I probably had it for the past year, and I love it because I get through so many more books when I can listen to them and be doing other things at the same time. So if you have an Audible membership, I think it's $15 a month and you get one book included in that every month, or you can pay for books individually, but you can download those right to your device as well, which is nice for road trips when you may not have good cell reception. So on the next screen, I'm going to post a bunch of really good audiobook recommendations. These came from people who sent me recommendations of audiobooks that they love. I got several audiobook recommendations from Merrick's Art and from her sister Everyday Reading. So screenshot this list and it's a good place to start to find books that would be interesting for your whole family to listen to on a road trip. And lastly, movies. I always love to download or purchase or rent a couple new movies that the kids haven't seen before that I know they'll enjoy, or maybe they haven't watched in a long time, or maybe it's something they saw in the theater but we haven't watched it at home yet. So you can Redbox a movie if you have a DVD player in your car, or you can download something onto whatever device that you're watching on. If you do have an iPad, I'm sure you guys have seen the headrest iPad mounts. So you can find those on Amazon for anywhere between $10 and $20. Just go to Amazon and search for iPad headrest mount, and you'll find an option that will work great for your car, so that a child doesn't have to hold the iPad. They can be doing other things and the iPad's just mounted right behind your headrest and they can watch a movie. One thing that we like to look for in grabbing movies to bring in the car is ones that have good music. If it's something that we're going to be listening to with the whole family, because we have a DVD player in our car, if the parents are going to be listening, might as well have some movies that have good music in it. So some of our favorites are Romeo and Juliet. This is all Elton John music, so we always encourage the kids to watch this because it's fun to listen to even if you can't see it. Obviously, The Greatest Showman is a favorite. And on the next slide, I'm gonna post a list of some of our other favorite movies that have great soundtracks. And as a final tip, I like to download some new games onto any devices that we have so that my kids can have something new that they're not sick of, that they've never played with before. I have an old phone that we've kept for years that I just have a bunch of games downloaded onto. With something like that, you want to make sure you download games that don't require internet access or Wi-Fi, that can just be downloaded and then the kids can play it without being connected to or using up data. And we also have like a super old Leapster Explorer. It's like one of those handheld things that you put the cartridges into, but you can also plug it into your computer. So I usually will download a couple new games on that. And with game time, we usually just like to set a specific amount of time for each kid to have a device and play a game on it, 15, 20 minutes. And that kind of prevents kids from fighting over devices. It breaks things up so that they take a break from gaming every now and again and spend some time with their family. So I hope that those media tips have helped. Let me know if there's anything media-wise that you've done that has been successful and helped with your long road trips. And I will be back tomorrow talking about maybe my favorite topic of the week, and that is car organization for road trips. So I've got some really good stuff to show you, so make sure to tune back in tomorrow. Okay, the third thing is podcasts. And I am super excited to get a bunch of podcasts downloaded for our road trip this summer because it's something I haven't really utilized in the past, and I feel like podcasts have come a long way, and there are a ton of podcasts out there now that are geared towards kids and that are also interesting for parents to listen to. So I am super excited to utilize this because we really haven't before. So I have a huge list of podcasts for you. A bunch of these I got from my friend Jamie at Wander and Scout. She did a post and a segment on TV about great podcasts for kids. So a lot of these are from her recommendations, and then also Jansen from Everyday Reading, and then again some from suggestions that people had sent to me. So I will post that list on the next slide. And I looked all of these podcasts up. They're all very highly rated. They're all available for download right from the podcasts app that you automatically have on your phone if you have an iPhone. So they're very easily accessible, they're very easy to download onto your phone, and they have great recommendations. And I've heard they're also narrated really, really well and interesting for adults as well. So screenshot this next image.